Hi, I'm Lee Solden. I'm going to invite you to learn Russian from me. I'm not much beyond. I'm a beginner in Russian. Okay, I can read it, not great. Can't speak that great. Don't practice it, but I've put a lot of time and effort into teaching it, and spent a lot of time reading it. Anyway, you might wonder, well, if I can't really speak it that well, how can I teach it, right? Well, I'm not gonna. What I teach doesn't have much to do with what I know. It's whether I know how to teach Russian. Okay, that's all you should care about. Are you going to learn Russian from this guy, right? I'm not going to rely on myself, my ability to say Russian correctly. I'm going to have you start surrounding yourself with Russian, the Russian language, spoken from an audiobook, which you're later going to learn. And I'm perfectly capable of teaching you what all that audiobook means because I know it. Okay. So how much Russian I need to know? I need to know what I'm teaching you, right? Okay. But more to the point, when you're done with me, you'll be able to read this audiobook in Russian, know what it all means, and furthermore, you'll be able to hear it all perfectly. Okay? People have trouble learning Russian is often and talking. It often has to do with they can't hear it right, and if they can't hear it right, don't know what it sounds like, they have trouble speaking it. If you can hear it right and know what it's supposed to sound like, then when you try to speak it, you'll correct yourself and talk it correctly. Okay. What I do happens to be natural language acquisition, but I didn't create the system knowing anything about natural language acquisition. I created my system upon stumbling upon things, and each time I stumbled upon them, I optimized them. So I have this system that was built on what works based on these discoveries. Now, everything I discovered was natural language acquisition, but because my system was not built around theory, but built around what works, it ends up being a very, very quick system to learn a language, including Russian. Matter of fact, there is no such thing as difficulty levels between languages. They're all completely simple to learn if you hear them correctly. Doesn't matter if it's Mandarin, Korean, they call them level 5 languages. No, they're all level 0. Every 3-year-old kid learns their own language, okay? And you have a stronger speech center than they do. You got languages you already know. They can relate to a new language. It's fast, but it's done the same way that the kid learned the language. Same process. That's why I call it natural language acquisition. Why do I call my system accelerated immersion? Because it doesn't take any chances. Every step of the way, what a child gets at somewhat random exposure to its language, I don't take any chances. There's nothing random about it. I want you to be listening to the audiobook that you're going to be learning. And I want you to be listening to that audiobook for a few hours a day. When I say listening to it, I mean passive listening, where you're paying no attention to it whatsoever. You're watching your favorite show on TV, you're listening to your favorite music, not in Russian, just whatever's your favorite thing to watch is. You have the Russian playing nearby you, just getting into your ear. If it's too loud, bothers you any, turn it down a little bit. It's for your subconscious, it's for your speech center, okay? Get used to hearing the Russian. Well, after you've been listening to it for a while, I tell people listen for 21 hours and ignore it. How much time does that take you? 0. Because you're not supposed to take any of your time. You're supposed to be listening to it as you go about your day. Okay? Get in the habit of listening to Russian as you go about your day. Then you start doing ear tuning exercises. These are just listening to the same 30 seconds or so of Russian. I think I have a couple 30-second stretches for Russian that I'll give you right off the bat. actually. But they're from this audiobook. And by listening to those stretches, say 120 times a day, while half the time just listening carefully with your eyes closed, the other half the time following these ear tuning syllables, which I have written in English letters to approximate the Russian. Okay, a bit complicated because I have a lot of the stuff from Russian pronunciation incorporated into the ear tuning syllables. Like I got a capital B versus a small b. This is soft consonant, hard consonant, that'd be capital B, that kind of thing. So the stress is exclamation mark, which syllable you stress. But it's a good approximation of the Russian, which makes it a little complicated, but it's readable and it works. I've had people use it and love it. They've come, even advanced people, people in studying Russian for a couple of years, they know a whole lot academically, but they still can't hear it right. They still can't speak it right because they can't hear it right. They come to me and do my ear tuning exercises, and they don't need me for anything else. They spend, they get in the habit of doing ear tuning exercises. Within days, their ability to hear Russian goes way up to where it sounds nice and clear to them. I have them start doing read-throughs. That's where you're reading some Russian text while you're listening to it. This is not ear tuning. This is read-throughs. There's a difference. It's how you soak the language up. But it's not just how you soak the language up. Because you're understanding the Russian, you're hearing it correctly. And you know what it means because you just looked at it. I mean, you're looking at the English definition and then you listen to the Russian, right? So you know what you're hearing. You hear it correctly. You put those two things together and you'll automatically start speaking Russian correctly if you keep doing these read-throughs. Now, the read-throughs have three parts. You'll look over the notes of what a sentence means. Then you listen to the sentence 3 times while reading it. And then you close your eyes and listen to the same sentence 3 times. And you let your speech center do all the rest. The first day you do this, when you close your eyes and listen to the Russian, even though you just looked over your notes, you probably go like, I have no idea what he just said. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Your speech center is 20 times smarter than you are in languages. It's a language supercomputer. It caught those definitions that you fed it in the known language, English in this case, although I'll be teaching this in several languages. But your speech center caught what you said, what that sentence meant. And then it's going to hear the Russian. Overnight, it's going to put those two things together for you. You wake up the next morning knowing more Russian. You're going to simply wake up knowing more Russian every morning. And you're never going to study Russian. You're simply looking at the Russian sentence, one sentence at a time, long enough so you know what it means that next 10 seconds as you play it a few times. Maybe you look it over again just before you close your eyes and listen to it for a few times. Main thing is you're introduced to your speech center what that sentence meant before listening to it, okay? So that's it. My program has 3 parts to it, right? They're not, none of them are the same thing as each other, but they're related. They're all related. I mean, everything is related to the passive listening. The passive listening is going to be instrumental in your ear tuning along with the ear tuning exercises. You don't stop the passive listening. That always stays 3 hours a day, always. That passive listening combined with the ear tuning exercises very quickly, just a few days after you started the ear tuning exercises, we're talking 1 hour a day for 3 days, that's 3 hours of your time, all of a sudden you're hearing Russian pretty good. Okay. And it's not a native ear, so you keep doing some ear tuning. So you never stop doing ear tuning. You do less and less, but you never stop it. You always do the passive listening, which takes none of your time. The ear tuning ends up taking very little time over the years as you're studying Russian, because you do less and less to the point where you do about 10 minutes 4 times a week. It's 40 minutes a week doing ear tuning. It's not a whole lot. Where's all your time? Time's on your read-throughs. At first, your read-throughs are somewhat time consuming because you're a new student to Russian and you need your speech center needs a little more input. You know, listening to it 3 times while reading it, listen 3 more times. But as you know more and more Russian, your speech center is going to need less and less. This whole process is to accelerate to the point where you're going to get to where you just listen to a 1-hour audiobook in Russian and you just know it by hearing it one time, never having looked at it. Because your ear will be that good, your vocabulary will be that high. A few words you don't know, so what? Your mind will kind of help fill it in. You'll still know how the story goes. It's like you read a novel in English. You may not know every word in it, but you still enjoy the novel and pretty much understand the plot, right? You'll get to that point by your 12th hour of Russian. I mean, in other words, first 11 hours, maybe you had to read, and then the 11th hour of it, you have to read it to know it. By the 12th hour, just listening to it, and you know it. Now, I do encourage you to keep reading it, though. I mean, I want you to always read stuff, become a stronger reading of Russian, and keep building vocabulary up. So if something you don't know, you want to look it up, see what it means. But at this point, just continued listening to Russian is going to teach you the rest of the Russian language pretty much. Now, when you get to that point where you understand Russian being spoken to you, or even you get near that point even, you start looking at about 5 hours worth of Russian very strongly. In other words, you keep learning new material, you start splitting your time up, say about the 7th, 8th hour you're learning. You're still learning new material, but you're going back to 5 hours of it and looking at that again and again. Why? Because you want to become very, 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 very familiar with about 5 hours of Russian. I mean, you want to know it like the back of your hand, exactly what everything means in that story. Absolutely everything. You don't want to have any doubts of any sentence. You want to know that 5 hours. Why? Because at the 12-hour point, you're probably going to go back and look at your Russian grammar. Well, the best way to look at grammar is like any kid in a 7th grader. You know, we send our kids to school about 7th grade and have them go to an English course, an English speaker. Well, the kid doesn't go to that course not knowing English. He already speaks English, understands English. I want you to already understand Russian, and you probably at this point you're going to want to start speaking it to some extent. You're going to have conversations with people, et cetera, et cetera. And now you want to start looking at the grammar. Okay, you go back to that 5 hours you know really well. Start learning the grammar. Now you're not trying to learn a story at the same time you're learning the grammar. You're learning the grammar within what you know already. So as you learn the grammar, it goes like, yeah, I see how that fits. Every bit you learn is right within what you know already. So you learn it once and you know it. So I'm telling you, no, don't try to like, how do you pronounce this? How do you pronounce that? No, you just do my ear tune exercises and understand how to pronounce it. And I gotta pause this. Okay, so I'm going to teach you Russian. If you want to learn Russian from me, first instruction is start playing the audiobook, which I'll post to this video. I'll also post the ear tuning syllables to this video, instructions how to do ear tuning. So if you've been listening to Russian a lot, but you haven't, like me, I used to listen to a lot of foreign languages, thinking it would help me out some, and it never did, not much. Spanish, 10 years, 3 hours a day, a little bit. But 3 hours of your time on most languages will have you hearing it really good. There's a couple of them like Hindi and Mandarin take a little longer than that. But most languages, French took 4, okay. It's an outlier. Most languages is 2 hours. Russian's 3. Doesn't take just a few hours of your time, basically. You can hear a language correctly. Okay. Later, I'll start adding, for that audiobook, I'll start discussing why each sentence means what it does. Not a whole lot. I mean, the translation to English is already there in the audiobook, but you might not know why that Russian is equivalent to the English. So that's I'll be helping you with. So you can kind of quickly because what you need to do is understand each sentence and then hear it. All right, so I'm going to set that up for you. So I'm setting up read-throughs for you. Okay, you're going to be learning the Russian just like any kid learns any language, by getting some meaning and then hearing it. For a child, the first words might be because the mother hands them a bottle and says, "Here's your bottle." Next day, "Here's your bottle." Third day, a child might be going like, hear the word bottle and getting hungry, right? Speech center is always trying to associate meaning with the words it's hearing. You're going to be like giving it this huge gift. You're going to tell your speech center what something means directly in terms of your known language just before your speech center hears the language. So it's far, far beyond what the speech center would normally get. It works really fast. Trust me. And it's not, like I said, it's all systematic. And I want to reiterate something. Read-throughs don't do you any good at all, pretty much, if you can't actually hear the language correctly. So I don't teach any words. If you're a total beginner Russian, I'm not teaching you a single Russian word right now. I'm going to tell you, listen to a lot of Russian, number one. Number two, do my ear tuning exercises. So now the Russian will sound nice and clear to you, just like you're speaking your native language pretty soon. I mean, keep doing the ear tuning exercises. Keep doing the passive listening. But as soon as you hear it pretty good, now you can start the read-throughs. Okay? So don't worry about learning any words in Russian. You're going to learn them all very quickly. You're going to soak them up very fast, like any child soaks up their own language. But that child grows up surrounded by Russian, if they're born in Russia, right? What am I having you do? Surround yourself with Russian. That child keeps hearing repeated phrases in Russian. Here's your bottle, here's your bottle, daddy's home, daddy's home, daddy's home, daddy's home. But in Russian, okay. Okay. What a pretty baby, what a pretty baby, what a pretty baby. Oh, ooh, that diaper. Ooh, that diaper. Okay. These constantly repeated phrases that the baby gets, that's where my ear tuning exercises come from. Because all it is 30 seconds of speech that you're going to hear 120 times a day. Again, see, I'm not leaving anything to chance. You're hearing this 120 times a day. Half the time while following my ear tuning syllables, half the time while just closing your eyes and listening. And whereas a child, or say you went to a foreign country and you're depending on immersion, well, what if no one's talking to you in the target language? What if people don't want to talk to you because you don't talk the language very well, and they don't have nothing to do with you? Hey, there's nothing's left to chance in my system. You're going to be surrounded by the language. You are going to hear these 120 these repeated phrases 120 times a day. Your ear will tune in very quickly to Russian, and then you'll start absorbing it, not by random conversations. You're going to absorb the Russian right in this audiobook, so every word you learn is in a sentence, so it's in context, and the sentences are in context in a story. Okay, so it's just going to be really fast. Okay, so back to what I was talking about the child, though. Child don't learn anything until the ear is tuned in. Once the ear is tuned in by all that passive listening and all that ear tuning from hearing these phrases repeated all the time, now when the child hears things perfectly, or pretty darn good. Now, when the speech center hears a word, the speech center kind of looks around, what's going on? What smells are in the room? Does the mother have a smile on the face? What kind of gestures is the mother making? What's the child doing? What's the mother doing? What time of day it is? Is it dark outside? Light outside? Speech center catches all this stuff. And later on, the speech center also catches any known words said with any new words. So maybe the 75th word the child's learning, it's couched within 74, some of the 74 known words at that point. So speech center takes that into account. You just need to know, you got a known language, just use that. Works a lot quicker. So the child hears things really well, and they starts absorbing it. Well, again, we're not taking we're not leaving anything to chance here. You've tuned your ear into this video, and now you're soaking it up, the same video. And as you learn it, you keep looping it. Well, now, just like the child has both Russian being spoken directly to the child and Russian being spoken all around, it helps the child soak up the Russian. You're going to soak up the Russian. And again, in a systematic fashion, because you're listening to the very audiobook you're trying to learn. Anything you learn is going to be reinforced by the continued looping of that audiobook. So that looping of the audiobook, the passive listening, is now there for two reasons. You're still doing ear tuning exercises. You're still getting a better ear for Russian all the time. Same time, you're learning the words in it, and you're getting those reinforced. So that reinforcement on top of the read-throughs, that's the associations, you put it all together and you just soak it up, just like a child. It's fast, it's effective, and because I'm having you read the Russian half the time, you will also be able to read Russian. By the way, you need to practice typing Russian at some point, but you don't have to memorize the Russian alphabet. Why? Because you're going to hear it perfectly. You have my ear tuning syllables, right? You simply write the Russian over the top of the ear tuning syllables, and you automatically see how the Russian is pronounced. And you can actually start transferring some of your ear tuning exercises to the Russian letters, which means you learn the Russian alphabet automatically rather than trying to study the heck out of it, okay? And your reading speed will automatically, by the way, be the whatever speed the guy in the audiobooks is speaking at. You're going to have that reading speed right off the bat for reading Russian. Okay. So, back to the first step. Start listening to Russian. Second step, after you've listened to it a lot, particularly to this audiobook, or if you've already been listening to a lot of Russian, start doing the ear tuning exercises. Don't stop your passive listening. Start doing your ear tuning exercises. When the Russian starts sounding nice and clear to you, like it's just nice, clear speech, then you want to start read-throughs. And by then, I'll have material there for you, videos, stuff, and then whatever I got in the video be in written form. And I'll try to take the stuff in written form and put that in different languages, and eventually make videos in like French, Italian, Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, Dutch and English. I don't know if I'll try right away anytime soon in teaching Russian and say Hindi, Greek, other languages I'm studying. Don't know when I'll get around to that. I'm going to do the easier ones for me first. I've decided to put as much stuff out there as fast as I can that I have right now to put out there, rather than worrying about, well, do I got all the material I need? It doesn't matter. I can help you out now with what I know and what I have available. And I'll keep trying to put more and more material out there for more and more languages. And I might start out with just talking about what words mean, what phrases mean. Later on, I'll be adding in grammar into that same stuff. It'll be a while, but eventually you're going to be able to look at a sentence in that first sentence in the story and not just see what it means. You're going to be, it'll be a reference. There'll be a reference to the appropriate grammar rule there also. So you can do that. So if you're a more advanced student and you're at that point where you want to know the grammar, that will be there for you also. But hey, I'm doing grammar. I'm teaching 12 languages or more. I'm doing grammar lessons for all of them eventually. I'm going to do what I can as fast as I can, but you can get a good start right now just by listening to that video passively. Okay? And have a good day. Bye-bye.